Before crossing the Pacific, my biggest sail was 2 days and 2 nights.
I bought a small 28-foot that I renamed Naughty Girl.
At the very beginning, I had a boyfriend. We lived on his 28-foot boat in the Tuamotus archipelago in 2016. And in fact, I went back to France for holidays and we split it at that time. And I decided that the best way for me to come back to French Polynesia would be the slowest one. So I found a site on the internet where I could put an ad to look for a boat. And so I was selected by an old skipper of 70 years old. So I joined him and his crew in the Canary Islands, and then we crossed the Atlantic Ocean together. We were 3 on board. We took 25 days to cross the Atlantic Ocean. And once we arrived in Martinique, I decided that I wanted to buy a boat for myself, a small one, so that I could handle it, more easily by myself. In Martinique, I bought a 28-foot. Then started the period where I learned how to sail by myself, because it's not the same experience to be a crew on a boat with someone you trust, who is more experienced than you, and to be on your own boat all by yourself and having to deal with everything at once. At the beginning, it was even difficult for me to take my boat out of the marina where I bought it, and then very difficult for me to learn how to sail just by myself on this boat. And finally, I ended up, managing to make my mind to go and have a try to cross the Pacific Ocean by myself, half of it, because it was Panama to Marquesas. It was very challenging for me because I'm the kind of woman who doesn't like to take too much risks. So I prepared the boat the more I could, and I experimented how it was to spend 30 days without speaking to no one and having just some few discussions with a few birds and a lot of flying fishes on my boat. Now I'm waiting for the wind to come back, and because I'm fed up to do 1.5, 2 knots, I started the engine. Ah, putain! When I was in Panama, I had problems with my engine and my gearbox. So once I crossed the Panama Canal, I got my gearbox fixed, and then put everything back on my boat while it was, still on land. And then we put back the boat in the water. At that time, because I was still inexperimented for some stuff about boat maintenance, I didn't know that they had to realign the engine once the boat would be in the water. Because on land, the hull, moves a little, and once back in the water, the hull will readapt or will have, his standard form again. So this guy should have realign the engine before they would let me go. But they did nothing for several days, and me, I just left, thinking that everything would be all right.
J'ai déjà eu un problème hier, et là à nouveau, ça s'est rebloqué. J'ai retiré le câble, j'ai essayé d'actionner la boîte de vitesse manuellement et c'est bloqué, voilà. Et je suis à 200 et quelques milles seulement.
I didn't know what to do. I wanted a boat in the perfect condition to go on. And on the other side, I thought that maybe the best for me would be, to come back to Panama, have it fixed. But I was worried that if I had to go back to Panama, maybe I would have never the courage again to leave for French Polynesia.
J'ai décidé de continuer en essayant de limiter au maximum l'utilisation du moteur, sauf que là, en ce moment, Si je coupe le moteur, j'avance pas, voire je recule, parce qu'on a un courant qui nous ramène au Panama à la vitesse de 1 000 par heure, donc 1 nœud. Et donc voilà. Là, c'est ce qui m'attend, c'est-à-dire il y a encore de la pluie. Donc j'espère que derrière ce gros nuage, à un moment donné, je vais enfin avoir du vent, que je vais pouvoir couper ce satané moteur.
And I had nobody to speak to because I tried to contact someone on my satellite phone and I could hear that person very clearly. That person couldn't hear me. I was so frustrated at that time because I just needed so bad some advice about what I should do and so on because I was so unsure about what I should decide.
Donc finalement, pour la 3e ou 4e fois de la journée, je change encore d'avis et là, je repars bien l'estomac. Et ce matin, en prenant le petit déj, j'ai senti un petit peu de vent qui se levait, donc j'en profite quoi. Et je sais toujours pas exactement ce que je veux faire, mais je suis en train de me dire, si j'ai des problèmes avec mon arbre, le plus simple c'est peut-être de ne pas utiliser le moteur du tout. Si le vent me pousse un peu plus vers le sud, que j'arrive à sortir de cette foutue zone intertropicale.
Je suis un peu stressée quand même, d'être aussi indécise en fait. C'est le fait d'être toute seule sur le bateau, de ne pas me sentir capable de réaligner le moteur, parce qu'on verra bien. So for 12 hours, I think, I just let my boat float. No sails, nothing. It was quiet, no wind at all. And after a few hours of sleep, I think it helped me to have a clear mind and to decide to go on. Because after all, it's a sailboat. So why would you need an engine if you have a sailboat? You are supposed to sail.
Et là, j'avance à 3-4 nœuds avec la voile. J'y croyais plus. Et donc, voilà.
And the best moment ever was when I would be not too far from an island and that birds would come on my boat. One of them just sat, on my solar panel, and I discovered that it was a very bad idea because he shitted on all my solar panel. And I didn't realize at first because it was high, I couldn't see the top of my solar panel. So I was just surprised that I would have less electricity or my battery level wouldn't be, so good every day. But I realized, in fact, it covered the solar panel with a bird shit.
J'avais un nouvel invité, c'est cool. Là, il vient d'atterrir. C'est cool.
Le centre de l'ouragan Irma se situe à environ 575 km à l'est des Petites Antilles. Le phénomène poursuit.
The most difficult, it was more like trusting myself in case something bad happened. You never know how you will react if something very bad happens, if you will be paralyzed by fear, or if you would make some dumb decision because of fear. So I was lucky enough to have a passage quiet enough with no big waves or no big tempest. I hope that I could have trusted myself in that case, but I don't know. Routine every day. I would check if I got emails, Iridium emails, so very short line, but it was very important for me to have some news from, the few friends and family who was in contact with me, because it was always a pleasure to read some few stuff. And during the day, I would write journal about what I would do and what I would see and so on. And it's super important to have this kind of routine.
Et ça fait du bien, mais j'avoue que là, j'ai moyen de morale. Enfin, ça va, j'ai le moral, c'est juste que j'en ai un peu assez, quoi. J'ai envie d'arriver vite. J'ai envie de pouvoir me dégourdir les jambes, j'ai envie de pouvoir marcher, j'ai envie de pouvoir me dépenser. Enfin, là, je bouge pas beaucoup, hein. Je vais de l'extérieur à l'intérieur, je monte et descends 3 marches. Ça va être une belle journée, je pense.
Did I discover something? That I'm not super patient and I'm not a reflective type of person. That some people say to me, oh, enjoy the blue of the ocean and the blue of the sky, and everything is blue around you for 38 days. All you want to do is green stuff, you know, like all you want to see is green stuff.
J'en peux plus de voir à quelle vitesse je me déplace, putain! Donc voilà, et là j'ai pas du tout envie de contempler ce putain d'océan, quoi! 2 à 3 nœuds quoi de vitesse, multiplié par le nombre de kilomètres, 1,852, ça fait vraiment pas beaucoup, quoi. Et là, à 5 nœuds, je serai encore à 12 jours à peu près du point d'arrivée. Mais là, si je fais moitié moins, tu multiplies par 2 la durée. Et là, franchement, j'en suis pas capable, j'en peux plus. J'en peux plus, quoi. J'en peux plus de pas dormir correctement. J'en peux plus de mettre et de défaire ce putain de tangon. J'en ai marre, mes autopilotes là qui tiennent pas le coup. Alors du coup, je suis obligée d'utiliser ce putain de régulateur d'allure qui fait faire des lacets. Donc ça me rajoute encore sur la longueur. Et je suis en train de péter un plomb. Bien couvert. Hier et avant-hier, c'était pas trop la forme. Là, ça va mieux. Déjà, il fait beau. Le bateau avance un peu mieux. On n'est pas encore à 5 nœuds et quelques. On est plus à 3 nœuds 80, 4 nœuds. Mais bon, c'est déjà vachement mieux que les jours précédents. Et donc, voilà. Et le bateau avance tout ça.
So all of this period, it helped me a lot to be the person I am now. And I just realized that I could do much more than what I thought. And it's all matter in your mind. Just try. At least you will try. You will learn from these trials. And you will be better the next time.
Hé, j'arrive! C'est la Terre! C'est la Terre au loin! Je sais pas si on voit bien là.
I prefer not to leave that. Okay. He's like swimming like an anchor. I live in Tahiti since 2004, in fact. First time I arrived here, in fact, it was thanks to my job in Paris. Back then, I was working for Deloitte as an auditor, and they would send a team of auditors here to make auditing work on some hotel. And I discovered Tahiti, and I addressed to the kitesurfing instructor who had a room to rent in this exact same house. And I came back 3 months before because, in fact, I fell in love with a kiteboarding instructor. And we stood together for a few years. And later on, he went back to France. I stood here. I can confirm that here is a real paradise. Like, I mean, I had some great encounters, and I've seen like plenty of different islands. But this is still the islands I prefer, French Polynesia.